Welcome back to Three Bold Takes, guys. We're doing our pick'ems for week 8. We're going to do 6 games split up into different videos. Tell you what we got for this week. And we're going to do an update on the records right now, guys, or we're going to hold off for another week.
We can do an update on the records if you want to. Do you want
I
to,
don't,
Quinn?
I don't know. Yeah, go
You
ahead.
know
I know
what?
I'm at the bottom.
We'll go from top to bottom. I'm in first with a 20 and 13 record. Freddie has broke 500 and is 17 and 16. And then Quinn, you're at 15 and 18, brother. We hope you can.
I know. Hey, it's actually growth. Believe it or not, it's growth. I
It
started
is.
off really bad.
Right.
You did. You did. Now, this game, guys, this is an 11 o'clock game, which I'm so excited it's an 11 o'clock game because Bama comes on at 2:30. Number 7, Penn State, traveling to Ohio State in one of the most anticipated matchups in the Big Ten this year, right? It's always Michigan and Ohio State is the most anticipated matchup. Not anymore, in my opinion. Penn State is the new kid on the block when it comes to upsets, and I think they're a 4.5-point underdog on the road, which is very interesting to me. I don't quite have the ESPN FPI up at the moment. I will say that in just a second, but Chase, go ahead and get her started. Actually, I can give you the FPI right now. Wow. Ohio State, 63% chance to win the game. That seems a little outrageous. Chase, go ahead.
Yeah, Freddie, you're anticipating this game. I'm also anticipating watching paint dry, like I am this game. Guys, we're talking about Penn State here. If anybody can lose against Penn State, it might be Ohio State this year, but it won't be Ohio State this year. I think Ohio State they've played very shaky. Michigan and Ohio State have kind of played the same type of schedule so far this year. Ohio State has played more shaky than Michigan, so I think they are more susceptible to losing to Penn State. But it's at the shoe. I think Penn State is going to come hungry. I think they're going to play really well. And I think it's going to be a very good game to watch. But it's also going to be very good, fun to watch paint dry as well. Because in the end, Ohio State's going to end up winning this game. They're going to pull away at the end like they do. In 11 of the last meetings, Ohio State's won 10. We're going to hype this up like we were. Who else is even good fun to watch? Like how we were hyping up Clemson in the offseason, or how we were hyping up that USC was going to win a national championship. Like, come on, guys. Let's be real with ourselves. Let's understand who we're dealing with. It's Penn State and James Franklin. What are they known for? Saquon Barkley and Micah Parsons. They haven't won anything. They're not a substantial team that we need to be talking about. I'd rather talk about Colorado for the next 6 games after they win or lose. And that's what I'm just going to leave there. I think Ohio State comes out. What was the spread again? They're 4.5 favorites. I think Ohio State wins by 10 plus points. I think it is
You're
not a
out of your
dominant.
mind.
Then I must be. Put me in a straitjacket because I think Ohio State is a quality team. They are. I think they are more susceptible than Michigan to lose this game. But I think Ohio State will get the best of Penn State. I think the offense, this might be that game where, like, how Ohio State's kind of looked shaky to begin the season and how Georgia clicked against Kentucky. I think this is Ohio State's game to click. They should have clicked against Notre Dame. They really didn't. I think this is the game. You show up, you get up 11 a.m., biggest game so far of your season. You get up for this game. Ohio State's offense finally clicks. Marvin Harrison over 120 yards, I think, receiving. Quinn?
You look at Ohio State, Penn State in the playoff era, right? From the perspective of an Ohio State fan, this is the approach I want to take because I think it's important that out of the big three in the Big Ten, Ohio State's the only one with like a notable win. The road game against Notre Dame. That's the biggest win out of any of the three. Now, what Michigan and Penn State have going for them is they have looked dominant against their lesser competition. The perspective of an Ohio State fan, I think it's fair to say they know when they play Penn State, the games are weird. The games are close into the second half. And Michigan has turned the tide a bit with these last 2 years winning. But there's something about road games against Purdue when you're ranked number 1. And there's something about playing Penn State when you're Ohio State. The games get a little crazy. I think we forget Penn State has won the Big Ten in the playoff era under James Franklin because they beat Ohio State. Now, granted, that was in Pennsylvania. They were at home. But things can happen twice, guys. I'm a strong believer in Penn State this season. I think they have been missing a dude at quarterback, and they have one. Defensively, they have been good. They are still good. I'm not concerned about them defensively. Am I saying they're as good defensively as Ohio State? That is not what I'm saying. But they're still upper echelon defense, or one of the upper echelon defenses. Give me Penn State because of Drew Aller at an 11 o'clock kickoff, not at night, 11 o'clock in the day. I like Penn State.
Quinn, Penn State's winning this football game against Ohio State. You mentioned that Penn State's defense is good, but did you say that Ohio State's maybe a tad bit better? Is that what you were saying?
They're both top tier, but I would say I have not seen Penn State, because of the competition they've played, I haven't seen a moment where their defense has had to win them a game. I've seen it with Ohio State, so that's where I'm coming from when I say that. It's just I've seen what I need to see there, where I'm putting faith that Penn State could do it, but I haven't had to see it yet.
Yeah, I hear you. And Penn State defensively is probably the second best team in the country behind Michigan. I think Michigan is the best defense in all of college football this year. Penn State gives up a total less than 200 yards per game, 72 rushing yards per game, and 121 passing yards per game. Now, when it comes to offenses, right, obviously Ohio State's throwing the ball a lot better than Penn State. They're averaging just a little bit over 300 yards per game passing to Penn State's 223. Here's where things start to change, though. Penn State is averaging over 200 yards rushing a game. What has Michigan done in every single game against Ohio State that they've won very well? And that's running the football. Because Ohio State is soft in the front lines. I'm going to keep it real with you. They have a very good defense, but when it comes to running defense, very soft, very lackluster. So I think you see a Penn State team that is going to run down Ohio State's throat to the point where it keeps Ohio State's offense off the field. Ball control in this game is going to be very critical in who wins this game. Honestly, I have a feeling that whoever owns the time of possession will win this game, simply because I think it'll be a close game. I just think that Penn State is a better football team this year. I don't care what's happened the past 10 years. None of that matters. Whoever was on the Penn State roster 6 years ago isn't on the roster anymore. There may be one because of COVID. They got their 6th year or whatever, but it's irrelevant. It's irrelevant to me. It's irrelevant to Penn State, and it better be irrelevant to James Franklin, or he ain't never going to win this game. But with that in mind, I'm going to pick Penn State to win and cover the 4.5 points on the road. I think they win by a touchdown in this game against Ohio State. And remember, Chase, you said that if Ohio State loses this game, you'd buy a Penn State and you would make an apology video very separately.
It's for both. They got to be.
Oh, they got to win both.
Come on, yeah, you're trying to backtrack. Watch yourself.
Okay, well, hey, this is step one.
One thing before we let off Penn State, I'll just give you. I want to give you. You're pulling out all the stats. I had to as well. Ohio State is 20th in total team offense. Right. Penn State has played West Virginia, Delaware, Illinois, Iowa, Northwestern, Massachusetts. Right. The 3 teams that actually scored on them besides Delaware West Virginia is 71st total team offense. Northwestern is 110th. Illinois is 117th. We're not going to look at Iowa. Iowa's never had an offense. Who cares? But Ohio State's 20th. They have not faced an offense like them yet. And that's the thing we got to look at, right? Now, I haven't had a lot of trust in Kyle McCord yet, but I think Marvin Harrison is going to do the thing. And that's what we got to focus on. That defense, they're playing great, and the statistics are great, but they haven't played a top 20 offense yet. And I'm not even going to go as far as saying Ohio State has an elite offense, not even a top 20 offense. And so this is the true test for Penn State. Ohio State's already been through a gauntlet with playing Notre Dame and winning that game, finding a way to win. Penn State just doesn't have that moxie to find a way to win like Ohio State does.
Ohio State has not played a defense like Penn State, period. I don't care what you say about Notre Dame and what you think about Notre Dame. Notre Dame is a very good, obviously they're a very decent team this year. I mean, they only have 2 losses, right? One was to Ohio State. Very close game. Honestly, Notre Dame probably should have won the game.
Right.
I'd argue if coaching was a little bit better at the end, Ohio State would not be in this position with only 1 loss or without a loss. Right. But I think not playing a defense like Penn State means more than the opposite of what you're talking about. I think this helps Penn State more than it helps Ohio State in the situation that you've given.
And that's why I brought that up, is because I think you really don't know their defense yet because they have not played even a top 50 offense. You don't know yet. And that's I'm telling you, I have there's a little bias here with Penn State, but at the same point, so you're pulling out the statistics, but they're not against great offenses. And that's the thing.
Chase, it doesn't matter. It honestly doesn't matter when the most you've given up all year long is 15 in one game. I don't care who you're playing. That's very impressive. And that's a sign of a very, very good defense. I mean, honestly, I hate the who have they played argument because all you can do is dominate games. And that's what Penn State's done.
You're exactly right. But you move the goalpost depending on the team that you want. You would not say the same thing about Georgia that you're saying right now about Penn State. And
they haven't dominated every game. Have they?
Yeah, but they're winning their games and they're winning the people that they're playing against. But you're not giving
dominating their game.
Penn State. Penn State's not dominant. 38-15 is not domination. That's the same thing as Georgia beating Vandy 37-20.
Okay, that's fine. I will give you that.
But you're calling Penn State a more sound defense, an elite defense, a top 2 defense over a Georgia or somebody else?
Yes, I am.
No.
Yes, I am.
No. I'll just leave that. I'm not going to keep fighting about Penn State. I always get off.
What I'll say about this is where Chase is coming from. Is there a possibility, due to the lack of opponents they have played that are like really good, Michigan and Penn State's defenses might not be as statistically great as they look? That is possible. However, they're both still easily going to be top 10 defenses by the end of the year, irregardless of where they are now. And so when you look at what has Ohio State played defensively, they have not played what Penn State has. Like Penn State at worst is probably, I would say probably the 8th defense at worst.
Mm-hmm.
That is much better than anything Ohio State's played currently. That's what I'll say about that, is even if it's not necessarily number 2, it's still really, really good. And I have more faith in what their defense can do than what I have in Ohio State's offense, frankly.
I mean, Penn State is number 1 in total defense, followed behind Michigan at 2. Ohio State is 7, so their defense is still good, top 10, obviously. But Rutgers is right there behind Ohio State as well, so you can take that for what it's worth. I'm just saying, if Georgia was dominating, and I know you brought that Georgia thing up because I like Penn State, you have to take into account the word dominate, right? Yes, a 38-15 game against West Virginia, but West Virginia had only lost 1 game coming into last year, right? They're better than what we had anticipated that they would be. 63-7. And even last week against UMass, you're making fun of them because they were barely winning, and they took care of business 63-0.
I think, did Auburn win 56-7 against UMass?
I don't think you take anything away from team versus UMass.
Right.
The talent level is not equal. So that Penn State could have beat UMass 35-14 or 77-0, and I look at it the same way. Unless you just escape with your life, it doesn't affect how I view the game.
Okay. I think that's situational more for me, but that's just what I wanted to point. If we can't move because you've explained over the year, and this is getting off topic, so I'm gonna, you know what? I'll just stop. Actually, I'll just stop. We're going off topic.
We could go down a rabbit hole of Penn State for hours.
I was
We'll
about
see.
to.
We'll see this weekend. Okay, we'll see.
Quit talking.
We'll
Let's
see.
just put our boots up.
The episode next Sunday is going to be a long one.
Oh God, yeah. Either me and Freddie are about to get all the smoke from Chase, just all of it. Heel Chase will be a thing next week if Ohio State wins.
I know. I'm gonna be a jerk, guys.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in to this week's predictions for the upcoming games in the college football schedule. Make sure you check out all 6 of them. We got them all up on the YouTube page. I'm Quinn. I'm with Chase and Freddie. We're out.